Halloween comes early to Greenville, South Carolina. September 5th to the 7th at the Embassy Suites on Verde. Retro HorrorCon. Haunted by a toy chest worth of ghoulish collectibles for you to take home. With a scream-worthy lineup of Horror Hall of Famers to die for. Get your tickets at RetroHorrorCon.com. Toy Federation presents Retro HorrorCon.
Welcome.
Howdy.
This is Toy Federation.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's Travis, Sandy, and enjoy your stay with us.
Yes. And you quoted Pee-wee Herman. You
Paging Mr. Herman.
Paging Mr. Herman. There's an interesting light back here, and it made me think of, because we were just talking about Pee-wee Herman, the nightmare that he had where his bike was stolen, and now Francis has it, and he's dipping it in this vat, melting it, and he's dressed like the devil, and he's now, you know. So that we were talking about that.
You're a big Pee-wee fan, right?
Yes. Yeah.
See, are you? See, I thought the movie was great, but it was like a one and done.
Yeah.
Like it didn't, but then it's so hardcore to people, and it was like, and I don't know if it's like an age thing because I'm older than all of you, so like it was like maybe I wasn't at that young enough,
right,
to where. Because I
remember
Paul Rubens more from the Cheech and Chong.
Right.
Where he was the hamburger man, if you remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then it's the one guy's in the bar, and then they're under the table.
Yeah.
And then he's like, head-a-piece? And he keeps saying, how do you like my head-a-piece? And he keeps thinking he's saying herpes, but it's hairpiece. And how do you like my head-a-piece? So I remember him from that. And then I think it was when Retro Rick was here. And was it in Riff from, but it's the NES Pursuit or Pixel Game Squad? And they had some trivia thing amongst each other for Pee-wee trivia, and then somebody was going to buy somebody something. I forget. It was like maybe the first time they came to the store, and they just knew it. And I was like, I wouldn't get a single. Yeah. I wouldn't have got. You might maybe. I wouldn't have got any of it.
I mean, I like Pee-wee, but I would never claim to be an expert. Because it does go deep. It started out as a live performance thing, and then it went on stage, and then it was filmed on stage. I think Phil Hartman was a part of the original part of it, and then it somehow landed in Tim Burton's lap to make a movie. It was his first one.
I guess TV show was first, right?
No, TV show was after the movie. Yeah, because the movie took off so well. They're like, give this guy the TV show. But I think why it worked on me so well was because I don't think I understood like this was supposed to be an adult,
right? Who
like paid bills and was responsible. I just thought he's this big kid and he's got toys everywhere. He was eating Mr. T cereal. I was eating Mr. T cereal. He had a Rube Goldberg machine that made us breakfast, and it was so funny. He took 3 bites and left because I did that.
But see, that worked because you were eating cereal,
right?
See, I wasn't. So
right.
I guess that's why.
And I was just starting to ride a bike.
Yeah.
So it was totally somehow aimed at that group without even meaning to. I don't think. But the whole story of him is to be a boy that never grows up anyway, you know.
Until he gets caught in the bathroom in Miami, right, or somewhere and stuff.
It was a movie theater. Yeah,
right, there you go.
And he was.
Oh no, that was the Wham guy is the one in the bathroom in Miami.
Yes.
That's right.
But yeah, Pee-wee got caught. Too,
yeah, that's right.
Red-handed.
Well, you know, it was. I'm not defending him, but there's like everybody in that theater was doing the exact same thing, and he got busted. Like no one else did. You know. But the thing that was interesting about Pee-wee, like the TV show, he had a helmet. He wasn't riding the bike anymore. He was riding a scooter. He had a helmet, and on the front of the helmet was a Mad Ball.
Oh, that's cool.
And I just loved that as a kid because it was one of 2 Mad Balls I had. It was the one right on the front.
So you had that exact one?
I had that exact one. It was the eyeball one with
Is that it?
Oculus or
Well, it's got to be, right?
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think if I turned it on, my dad was like, "Get that idiot off my TV."
See, I saw the movies. I never watched the show. But when was that show out?
Mid 80s.
Was it mid 80s?
Mm-hmm. It's 86, 87.
Oh, yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High school or something.
Well, you were 10 years older than me.
I was
so you
still
were,
a huge nerd, but I wasn't watching that.
Well, I don't think anybody at 16 was watching Pee-wee, really. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
I remember I watched me a little Thundercats and, had the hots for Chitara. I was like, they're drawing her good. Yeah. Thundercats. Bringing them to the show this year.
Yeah.
That's going to be exciting.
We were talking about this just the other day, too, about Thundercats. What a strange
40 years.
origin of the characters. So
They're little.
Well, they're all on a ship
They're all children.
in suspended animation, right? Well, the main cast they were adults.
He was a child.
Yeah, so Lionel was a child, but his sleep chamber on the ship malfunctioned, and he just grew
up.
Yeah, he grew up, and
I'm not a Thundercats expert, so I can't.
well, it's in
yeah.
the first episode. We've had it on the
Million
TV before,
times.
but
the other thing I don't understand is like, okay, they're on Thundera,
right, Kitty Cat Planet.
naked,
Yeah,
Well,
They
all cats are naked.
but then they go to Third Earth or whatever, and they gotta have clothes.
yeah. It's because the
I don't know.
80s. So she can be in her jazz or aerobics outfit.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you liked.
yeah.
She's got to do those aerobics.
So what? So why? All right. My question has been, why was he a little boy that is now a man? Like, what was? I guess was he supposed to keep innocent? But then they made him the leader of the team.
Right.
Because
I
he's
didn't
cool.
What? Because his hair went to the side, Because he had the sword and
I'm sure they explained it very well and just.
But also, if you watch it,
We-
he can never do anything on his own. He can never beat a single enemy without calling the rest of the Thundercats.
But that's just script. Just like what do you say in Voltron?
But I mean, if
the
you're-
individual alliance can never beat anybody,
But
so
if
they have
you're
to
the
form
leader-
Voltron to win.
if you're the leader,
Yeah.
should win some of the
I mean,
time, right?
Duke beat Serpentor the first time in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
But Duke.
I mean, Prime didn't win, but that was Hot Rod's fault.
That's because they wanted to sell more toys and they sold enough
It
primes.
backfired.
Yeah, but he came back in I think, was it the fourth season or the one that was in Japan? I don't know.
It wasn't the same.
Yeah, that was another sort of misstep there, was killing off Prime, and why anyone thought it was a good idea.
Well, they were going to kill
'Cause
off Duke. But
He's
they
in
didn't.
a coma.
It was all right. Andy probably would remember. It would probably it might have been different for you, but like when they killed Prime, kids were crying at
Oh,
school
yeah.
the next
Oh,
day.
no.
Yeah, it was.
Who was it? Is it Lane or somebody tells the story that they were. Or somebody. They were in the theater.
Oh, people are having meltdowns.
No. And he was in line to see it. And then the people were coming out saying how Prime died.
I think it was Lane.
Right?
Yeah.
And he was like, he freaking ruined the whole
Last
movie.
10 minutes.
Yeah, last 10.
Yeah. But so there was, we ate some pizza and
Yep.
then there was this story and then I don't think I've ever told it. So I apologize if I have, but we were in a previous episode talking about Revenge of the Jedi. And when I was a kid, I had a reoccurring subscription to Famous Monsters of Filmland and Starlog. Then I went to Fangoria when I wanted to do special effects. And I couldn't get enough of any of this stuff. And I remember in the back of Starlog, and I got to find it, but it was an ad, a classified ad that was, I don't know, 1 inch by 2 inches. It was a tiny little ad. And I can't truly remember the wording, but it was something Revenge of the Jedi photos. And then it broke down let's say 5 for $10, 10 for $20, 20 for $30. And then you had to send a check to this. It was this tiny ad. And then my mom wrote a check, mailed it in. And it was like, the more you spent, the more photos you got. And I was like, I'm going to see Revenge of the Jedi photos, which if you kind of think about it as a grown-up, are you just getting pictures of Return of the Jedi? Because, I mean, what's a Revenge of the Jedi photo?
Yeah.
It's just the alternate name that the original title. But in my kid self, I'm like, I'm going to get all these Revenge of the Jedi photos. So my mom wrote the check. And then I've no concept of time. But it was, when I was a kid, it was a big deal to get mail. So, and then I used to do coins too. So I used to, but anyway, I get this big box. And I could bring it in to show you, but it was this big green box. And it almost opened up like a chocolate candy box or a shoe box, but it was short. But you lifted and then it had the label on it, and it was taped on top of this green box, and it said the Yuma Daily Sun. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. And then when you lifted the lid, it was like if anybody used to get the weekend paper, internally there was like this sub paper that usually came out for the weekend edition. And it was the size of a newspaper folded in half. But where the newspaper opens up and then it opens up again, this was just already like an old Marvel Treasury Edition size type.
Yeah.
And it said Revenge of the Jedi with like stars. And then it was the Yuma Daily Sun. They filmed the Jabba sail barge skiffs, scenes in Yuma, Arizona. And so the local paper is interviewing, like, let's say Richard Marquand, the director, or Mark Hamill, or the carpenters who, So there's all these stories from the carpenter's perspective, and it took 10,000 nails to build this, and there was behind the scenes shots. But it was just lots of writing. And then, there's advertisements in it because it's a newspaper. So, it'd be like a Ford ad or a Chevy ad with Darth Vader and the cars. And so as a kid, I was a little disappointed because I'm envisioning I'm getting these color photos of Revenge of the Jedi, but I get this magazine or newspaper supplement. So it was, whatever, it's not what I thought. But then when I kind of got older, I still have some, but I've given a lot of them away to people because most people have never seen it. And when you see it, it's really cool. And if you read it, because there's a lot to read, because it's 20, 30 pages or whatever, magazine, newspaper size, so it's big. But I was mentioning this story when I was in college, I wanted money to go out because, you're in college, you're broke. And so when I went home, I rounded up what toys I was willing to sell. But, I still kept my original Falcon, my original AT-AT. I kept some of the figures that were more sentimental. But like all my micro collection and just certain things, I just went to the local comic book store in town. And I think I got $75 for everything. And I needed more money. I think I was trying to get a stereo or something. So then I said, I have something Revenge of the Jedi. And even then, that was something. So then I remember bringing that out and showing him. And then I think he paid me $50 a piece, and he bought like 3 of them, let's say. So it's like all of my Star Wars was $75, but this 3 just little supplement to a newspaper, I got like 150. And I think I ordered like 30 of them and 83.
Yeah.
I might have 5 left. That's cool though.
It's like you say sometimes, it's paper. Like that's the stuff.
Ryan's Files.
There was this, I can't remember his name, but like, did you ever see something in a magazine and order it? as a kid?
I tried.
Yeah,
I wasn't
my parents
allowed.
were like, no.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, shot down.
Like
Yeah.
you never got the X-ray specs or the 10-foot tall Frankenstein or any of that?
No, I wanted that stuff so bad.
I ordered, so you'll know this, at the back of countless comics was the big army scene on the back page.
Yep, I remember. So it was sideways.
Right.
Yep.
But then there's a Revolutionary War one.
Right.
I ordered that army one, I'd swear to you, 3 or 4 times. Never, ever got it.
That was probably the excuse given.
Yeah.
Never, ever got it.
Yep.
But I mean, they're buying a full page cover ad, and I think there's a book devoted to somebody
actually
collected all these to show you how poor or bad they were.
Yep.
And I was so disappointed because I wanted like 47 infantry troopers and 32 machine gunners, and I never got it.
Have you seen pictures of it?
Oh, the stuff's horrible. Aren't they flat?
They're flat.
Yeah.
They're so bad. And like they're like you would have been better to just go to a dollar store and buy like a sack of those army. Those were way better.
There was no dollar stores though.
Well,
5 and dime.
You can now.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
But the point is they were flattened to save on cost.
Yeah.
And if you got them, that was a disappointment. The Revolutionary War ones were even worse. They looked like cartoon.
There was a Navy one
versions.
where it was just all ships.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I probably should buy one just to say I have one. But I never got it. We must have or either that or my mom's like, I wrote the check, or it was like $1.98 or something. It was like $2.98.
Wants to play war. We can't have that.
Oh no, we played war all the time. So if the things we did as a kid, you would be shot and killed now probably.
Yeah.
Like we full camoed, face paint,
Yep.
and would hide in strangers' yards.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
And nobody.
With guns that didn't have orange tips.
Yeah, that looked like full getup. Like you would go to Army Navy and have like a grenade on. That was like a real hollowed out. Like, and I mean, you're full on Rambo or.
Well, because people knew that there's no way a kid has a real grenade.
Well, it's the kid down the street. He's hiding in our bushes. Look, honey. Like it was just, it was no big deal.
Yeah.
But
Well, that
we just hid everywhere. Just climbing fences in people's yards.
Yep.
But I mean, it's, I wouldn't dream to have my kids do that. But I mean, it was just, we would take off on our bikes and be gone till.
Oh, yeah. I'd drive my bike like 2 towns over.
I got to McDonald's, take that one bite out of chicken nugget and make it a gun. I didn't care.
You're hard, man.
I can't believe, like, if no one's familiar with that story, that happened. A kid got in trouble and was sent home, was suspended because he had a chicken nugget, bit it, and made it look like a gun and pointed it at somebody.
Yeah, I don't. It's well, then you could just sell like your piece of toast that looks like the Virgin Mary on eBay now.
Yeah. No, I
Or
can't.
they recently sold a
Cheeto.
the
the
Charizard Cheeto.
Charizard Cheeto.
Oh my god,
It went for like $87,000 or
that's
something.
so
I don't know.
shill bidding. That is not real.
Yeah.
I swear, it's money laundering, just like
Yeah.
these Beanie Babies.
It's just so ridiculous. But now it'll be worth that because somebody paid it, and then
It's not. That's
and then that goofy thing will get sold to some other person who's like, I love this goofy thing, and
yeah. There's nobody's really paying that.
Grated Cheeto.
well, but see, the thing is, a lot of like modern art is that it's just
Didn't some dude like duct tape a banana to a wall?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, whatever the price was. It was like thousands of dollars.
You're missing out, man.
That's stupid.
Well, but it's not, no one's buying that. What they're doing is they're putting their money into something so they can't be taxed. And then they take it out and they sell it to the next guy. That's it. It's not, it's.
Well, if I need to take something like yeah, I don't know. Like it's money laundering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. It's all.
Because you're not going to give me $80,000 worth of something. So you're going to sell me this thing that costs nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you 80,000. Well, now
Well, it's like
sold something, and I got something worth that. No,
it's like ticket scalping, right?
Yeah.
Instead of paying for the ticket, you're buying a flower for $500, but you just happen to get a ticket to the front row seat of a concert.
Oh, that's a thing.
Yeah,
Jeez.
it has been forever.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's how you get away with it because you're actually paying for something and you're.
If
getting
you
the
own
ticket.
the ticket, can't you sell it for what you want?
You can't. Well, no, you can't charge over what the ticket cost.
Yeah.
It's considered
When did that
scalping.
rule happen?
I think it's been that way forever.
I mean, that's what scalping is.
Yeah.
It's not something.
So you got
easily-
front row seats to whatever.
Right.
You can sell it to your buddy who's not going to tell anyone.
Right.
But you
really-
can't sell it on a format.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why, like, hey man, I've got this Bon Jovi pin. I'll give you $500 and I'll give you this ticket.
Is that it?
I had no clue. I thought it was like a free market economy kind of thing.
What Andy's saying, I heard it at some point, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I never bought scalp tickets anyway. I just either went.
I remember in
or
college, I knew a girl that worked at the. So this is in Tampa. And when was it Pearl Jam went on sale?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care about Pearl Jam, but everybody they were like on fire, and she worked. I think they had like I forget what the rec center or whatever. There was like a Ticketmaster thing that the students could work, and you could buy concert tickets to whatever. And I remember she just did it, and didn't matter what, she was able to get me 2 tickets. And maybe I don't know, they were $15 each or something, whatever they were. And I think I sold them for $80. I was happy.
Yeah.
Because like but I think I was offered that. They were probably worth more than that.
Just don't get caught.
Well, this was in the fraternity, and like I said, hey, I got 2 tickets to Pearl Jam. Anybody want to go? And then it was like, well, I'll give you 60, I'll give you 50, I'll give you 80, and it was like, okay, sold.
I mean, that's not really like you can sell anything to anyone for whatever you two agree
I think
on.
what I'm
It's just-
speaking of is more like if someone's like trying to sell tickets in front of the event.
Right. So if you sell it on eBay,
So like if you
Oh,
got
yeah, because there's a
stock,
whole-
no, I sold him this pin for that.
Oh, right.
That's more what I'm.
Yeah, because you're like, I think you go on eBay and buy tickets for different things.
All that stuff's too expensive. I don't buy it.
Well, I don't care to go to any of those things anyway.
I'm here and I go home.
You're right.
this guy,
That's it.
this guy's buying Pearl Jam tickets for $15 and selling them for 80.
Right.
I was at home drawing pictures of mountaintops.
I didn't even like Pearl Jam.
Yeah, I was in 6th grade.
I don't think I disliked
Yeah.
them. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
I was more into
fine.
like Quiet Riot or something.
Rat. Winger.
No,
Not Winger.
Not winger.
I wasn't Winger.
Guy, that guy knew ballet.
I was more AC/DC. Scorpions.
Scorpions. Well, that's okay. Everybody's into what they're into.
Hey, it was good. There's kids now wearing AC/DC
Oh, yeah.
shirts.
So-
They don't even know what they're Def Leppard. It's
Exactly.
cool.
So my daughter came home with a Def Leppard shirt, an AC/DC shirt, and something else. And I said, name me one song from each of those bands.
Yeah, they could be.
Their bands?
I'm like, you poser.
I thought it was a shirt brand. I thought these guys on the front had a shirt brand.
Right. It's a shirt band shirt.
Shirt brand shirt.
I'm wearing Def Leppard brand clothing.
Their
sir.
clothes are great.
So soft.
That's so dumb. But, you know, that's fine. I mean, I at some point, I was thinking about it, like, not as a complete defense, but we've all, like, worn, like, you got, like an old shirt that's got, like, Pepsi on it or some brand. Or it's kind of the same thing. You might have wore it just because it's a shirt. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's just weird just not knowing what it is, I guess.
Well, if you notice now, and I mean, I'm a perfect example of it. I'm wearing branding for Toy Federation
Branding,
or
Toy-oriented
thing.
shirts.
or Megaforce
Yep.
or Kelly's Heroes or
Yeah,
it's
things
some
like that, yeah.
what is it like? What do they call the tee? Like the graphic tee,
Graphic-
right?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what they
yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
So,
That's all I wear.
but when I was a kid, there's a time when everything changed to where everything, like if a guy had a collared shirt, it was a collared shirt, and then he had jeans. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just look, not even all that far back, everybody wasn't running around branding for everybody.
No.
Yeah.
It was just, I have a blue polo shirt. I have
Might be terry cloth, but
I have a red T-shirt.
yeah.
Yeah. Why do you know the name of the designer? You don't know the designer.
Well, no, it was just, but then it just started to go to where, but it's like so much cool stuff happened in the 80s that you have to have shirts to represent it in the future.
Well, everything old is new.
Yeah.
But I mean, your dad wasn't wearing shirts with graphics from the 40s.
No. He was wearing like a white T-shirt and jeans.
But so when did it go to where?
I guess the 80s would probably be.
Well,
like,
because literally
that's when it would
almost
start.
every toy line we sell originated in the 80s.
Yeah, so it had to be the 80s.
All these iconic movies originated
Well,
in the 80s. Now, it doesn't mean, people were wearing Led Zeppelin shirts. So they were before the 80s.
I mean, it's
or-
pop culture. Like,
I think it might have been this. I don't want to say the 60s because I have no idea, but I could say for sure the 70s. It was very popular, when it came back around in the 90s to wear stuff from the 70s.
oh, yeah,
I mean, there was
everything
Star
comes back
Wars,
around.
but a lot of it was iron-on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like you would
Those
do
soft
it.
patches or what, right?
Like you would get this, and then you would iron it on the shirt
Right.
yourself. So you still got your generic shirt, and then you put a Star Wars, or it's just. But then also everybody also dressed more. I don't know if you'd say professional.
Well, I mean, as far as dressing goes, society's like totally just
Lax.
digressed.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like if you look back at like whatever, you like 40s, 50s, 20s suits.
Yeah.
Like you were
Oh, every
formal,
guy
like-
had a hat.
right.
Yeah.
Everything was like clean, formal. Now you get people running around in cut off sweatpants, like going into Walmart, or cut off pajama pants.
Well, when
or-
did it? Like, it's like every woman now walks around in workout clothes, but they don't necessarily work out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's that outfit,
Yeah.
whether it's leggings or.
Yeah.
But that's what you would have worn to go to the gym.
Right.
But that's just what I wear to go anywhere now.
This makes me think of a conversation I had with my dad in the late 90s. Maybe Andy experienced this. It was really popular to wear like the really big like JNCO jeans. They're really big and open at the bottom, right?
Yeah, where homeless people live under them.
I had parachute pants. Is that similar?
It's a similar kind of thing.
They went, or Z
Right.
Cavaricis. I had those.
Cavaricis.
So
Tight roll.
I got my first pair, and my dad's like, "What is it? Everybody looks like they're in the Navy now. There's no boats around. What's going on?"
Well, it's like when Marty McFly
Would
went
you
back.
jump ship?
Marty-
We're in a life preserver.
yeah.
Preserver. I mean, did your dad ever say anything about parachute pants? Like, like what do you?
No.
Oh,
But see,
my dad constantly grilled me.
see, my mom.
Constantly.
So yeah, no. I mean, I always had whatever. Like my mom dressed me, so she bought whatever she bought. So it was like I had Z Cavaricis, I had parachute pants. Those were cool though.
That's how you had cool stuff. Members only jacket.
I had a members only jacket. I had an
IOU.
I don't remember.
sweatshirts.
I just remember it was Edwin jeans. I had and then it was Edwin and Guess. And Volcano Wash, acid Wash.
I had your bow.
Skids were big.
Skids.
What skids?
So they were, like you were probably, you're older than us, but like they were kind of like flannelish looking pants that had a
How do I not even
Diamond.
work this?
patch that had the car skidding and it was on like the pocket of the jeans or the pants.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
more 90s.
Yeah, I was in
Yeah.
college.
Right.
I mean, I had the
big shirts,
stonewashed jeans and stuff. I had a lot of that.
the big shirts were, or the branding, or the brands, because it was Guess, Edwin. For some reason, Edwin like surpassed Guess,
I
at
don't know
least
that
down
one.
in Miami. And then, but then there was, oh geez, now I can't think of what it is.
Well, but even then,
PCH, Pacific Coast Highway. That was a brand.
Oakley.
I vaguely remember
PCH.
Remember those metallic-y, shiny Oakley jackets?
I remember when everybody wanted those Oakley glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was something with shorts. I think they were Umbros.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
And there was like this.
for soccer.
They were like soccer shorts.
Yeah.
There was like a clique, like
Oh, yeah.
in high school.
Yep.
Yeah, they were more like the rich kids. They all had Honda Preludes, and they had white.
Probably wore Sambas.
Well, I just remember they had Umbros, white T-shirts where they rolled the sleeves up. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't.
Sounds a little bit like the greasers.
Oh
versus
yeah.
the preps.
I just remember the Prelude was like the car.
Yeah.
I didn't have that.
Those things are probably still running.
They do
might.
last.
That's what I'm saying.
Or you had a Datsun. I think it
Yeah.
was. I don't even know if it was
Fiero.
Nissan yet. I remember a guy had a Fiero. I had a buddy at a Chevy Nova.
I went to college with a guy who was in a Chevy Nova from the 70s.
So there was one
It
guy.
lasted his first year.
Well, my buddy Jim, he had one, but Jim didn't go to high school with me. But there was another guy that he had like an old Chevy Nova, and it was white.
I think they only came that way. I don't know.
Really?
I mean, the one I
Because my buddy Jim's was white too, I think. So they only made Chevy Novas in white.
in white.
They need to bring back the El Camino. Car truck.
Car truck.
Yeah, I had a Suzuki Samurai. I liked it. It was cool. And then it was this. So I don't even. Nobody's gonna know this unless you were from Miami. And there was an elementary school near my house called Gloria Floyd, and I'm sure it's still there. And it's this weird school that's, it's like, let's just say it's like 30 feet in the air. Let's just say it's a perfect square and it's raised. And the earth is like a pyramid going up. Then the structure's on top. So now the structure, I'm assuming, I didn't go to that school because I went to a different school, but I guess you could go below the structure and you're underground, but you're really above ground because you can't really go underground in Miami because of sea level.
Right.
And I used to drive my Suzuki Samurai with my buddies into like literally onto the property. And then we would drive it up the hill and then just drift all the way back. And then we'd back it all the way up and then go all the way down. And it was like 40, it was good. It was fun. Yeah. But yeah, if you look that school up, you'll see.
I mean, what was the purpose of
of
that?
driving it up?
No, the way it
Oh,
was
I don't
built.
know.
Like, was it for
See, I went to
flooding?
a
Was
private
it-
school, and that
I
that would have been my school. If I didn't go to this other
Right.
school, that would have been my elementary school, because it was down the road from where we lived. But yeah, it was like some state of the art or some vision future school, something maybe because being in the earth, it's better
Artsy.
temperature. Or, I don't know. Yeah. But then they had a big football. That's where I broke my collarbone playing football there. And then they had basketball courts, and so that's where everybody went. And then behind it was like this little wooded area, and there was like a bike Somebody made like some makeshift BMX little.
I swear every school has one of those.
But this was not like the schools, but it was next door.
Like, right. Same thing like the middle school I went to. Whatever. Back of the woods, these guys made huge BMX ramps, jumps. Cool.
Yeah, because see that was a big thing. But like I remember my first bike was a Huffy. Which I don't even know if is that still a thing?
I think they're still around.
I think, yeah.
And then we went, and I remember there was this movie theater. I don't know if it was Bird Road or Coral Way, but it was called Westchester. And then I remember, I think they stole my bike in front of the movie theater there. So even then you had to chain your bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you watching the Pee-wee Herman movie?
No. I saw Star Wars.
No, he lived it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, I didn't. I did watch it.
You don't want to watch your movie, Pee-wee? Nah, Daddy, I lived it.
I don't need to watch it. But I did watch the other, Nice Dreams or whatever he was in. He was the hamburger man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what was
we were talking about bikes, Huffies, and movie theater. Your bike got stolen out front.
So we drove our bikes everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And then if you saw, like, I know we went swimming, like there's water, just go in this lake. It's like, could be alligators in there. Parents don't know where you are. You could have went under and got stuck on something and never come up. And nobody know where you were.
Yeah.
It's weird. And then you wouldn't let your kids do any of that.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's like, what's wrong?
Yeah. And
You just
parents are better off not knowing what we did.
But then they did the same thing, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Maybe worse.
Well, they didn't have all this distraction looking at phones and stuff,
Yeah.
so they were just actually doing things. It's like, well, watch it. I'm going to play another round of Fortnite, or whatever. Like, they're building, doing stuff.
Yeah. We were outside till the streetlights came on.
So I have a story from your dad
Yeah?
about that. So I used to work for Ryan's dad, and I think it was one day we just went out to grab some lunch or something, and we got on the subject of just goofing off, being a kid, whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, I blew up this road one time."
Yeah, he used to do hardcore fireworks and stuff.
Yeah, it was fireworks and rockets and things like that, and I think him and a buddy or a couple buddies bought a bunch of them and just put it all together, and it blew up right in the middle of this road.
It was like a big thing.
It's in a median. Yeah, it was like a big thing, and they ran away, and the cops are going around questioning everybody.
Yeah, my dad, he's got 3 40,000 square foot warehouses full of stuff.
Full of stuff.
So it's like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree,
Yep.
Yeah.
is what they say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've learned a lot from him.
And no one will ever get that amount of fireworks or explosives anymore.
No, and he did magic. He did all kinds of crazy things, but he would fix TVs on the side of the road because people would throw them away and he could fix them.
Yeah.
And
he figured it out.
Yeah. But it was usually just something simple, but then they didn't know.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
And the other people would take advantage. But alrighty, so that's winding this one down.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming, listening, checking us out. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Put it in the comments.
Yeah.
So
Tell the mailman.
Tell the mailman.
Now.
See.
Toy Federation.